True Crime Cowboy.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I decided to use my old mic today. It's not too bad. I know that when I tape things early in the morning like this, it's right before 7 a.m. I know that the other one tends to glare a lot, so I just figured I would try this one. That way I can kind of kick back and just talk to you. This morning, I'm just talking about this deal with Jared. Honestly, I wish people would think things through all the way and not just to react emotionally and start jumping to conclusions. Because of the timing with this, people are automatically assuming, oh, it's Truckee trying to get back at him. And no. Truckee has absolutely nothing to do with this. The only connection that there might be is that, of course, nosy neighbor SF Investigates brought this to the forefront, although it already existed on Reddit, and this has been going on between Jared and his cousin for quite some time. Also, the fact that it was triggered by her seeing a video and Jared being displayed as a hero, and it triggered those memories. Now, those of you who have not ever been a victim of sexual assault, or you have not been close to somebody who's been a victim of that, let me just say that you have absolutely no idea of the trauma that victims, especially when it happens to them when they're young, as in Jared's cousin's place, 9 or 10 years old, you have no idea what kind of traumatic effect that has on a woman's psyche. And the hell that she has to go through dealing with that. I know of several instances where a case was taken to trial. The victim was there, and when the perpetrator walked into the courtroom, the victim broke down and started sobbing uncontrollably, to where the judge had to call a recess and stop everything until the victim could recover her composure. I've dealt with this many times over. I've seen the trauma that victims go through. In one email exchange, excuse me, Jared's cousin talks about becoming physically ill. I believe they were at a funeral, and she became physically ill when she saw Jared getting out of a vehicle, and to the fact she couldn't even go into the building. She had to go watch it on Zoom because she couldn't stand to be around him. So this has absolutely nothing to do with Truckee other than the fact that SF Investigates, who is always sticking his nose into everything that does not concern him. The guy's a total asswipe, I'm sorry. He's always sticking his nose into stuff. In fact, he's even been going after Casey, living lake time, saying all kinds of untrue things about him. I mean, horrible things. and stating them as fact. In fact, I told Casey and I remain in constant contact. There's several other creators that I remain in constant contact with, and we discuss everything. And I told Casey, because he said, I'm thinking about suing him. And I said, I would. If he said stuff like that against me, that's libel. And I said, I'd go after him. I hope he does. And Casey, if you're watching this, I'm sure that all of my viewers would totally agree with you, especially if they saw the things that he said about you. So that's the only connection there is to Truckee, is the fact that SF Investigates sticking his nose in where it doesn't belong again. The guy's a major gossiper. That's all he does, is try to disparage people. To try to make himself look good. I don't know. But he's a jerk. I have absolutely not 1 ounce of respect for him. And think about this. AWP moved on from Kylie's case months ago. They already came out with the statement saying they weren't going to release any more video. They already come out and stated it. What reason would there be for people saying, oh, Truckee's blackmailing him? Oh, come on. Think a little bit. My word. What reason would they have? And by the way, say, well, because they found Kylie's vehicle. Yeah, and guess what? If you watch the continuing videos after that, a few weeks later, that whole area where Kylie's car was no longer underwater, but it was dry ground. So yeah, she'd have been found anyway. There'd be no reason for them to try to blackmail or threaten. And by the way, even if they threatened AWP, how are they going to enforce it when AWP is clear to the other side of the country? It's ridiculous to even espouse that theory. Truckee had absolutely nothing to do with this. The timing is coincidental, I agree. But, again, the timing is because of SF Investigates. This stuff's already been on Reddit. It was put there a long time ago, then it was taken down, and then it was put back up. There are also those of you who said, well, Jared's already talked about his past. Bull. He might have talked about some things, but he didn't talk about everything. He didn't talk about this. He didn't talk about him assaulting his cousin and his sister. He didn't talk about that. In fact, I have a little clip here that I want to show you from Doug that he put out yesterday, where he flat out says, until this all came to the forefront, they did not know about any of it. And it appears from what he says that he's no longer going to associate himself with Jared or AWP. He says, I don't know where I'm going from here. Anyway, here's the clip.
Everyone, absolutely everybody has a story to tell. You know, where I come from, though, there's codes. Where I go from here, you know, I have a lot of support, and I love everybody who's reaching out and just telling me and letting me know that I have your support, and that you stand with me. And my future is just going to go with being real. You know, I'll continue to follow the passion that I've developed with helping people, with, you know, telling somebody's story. You know, I come from the towing industry, and now I pull cars out underwater, helping families get answers. I've developed that passion. It's unfortunate that I've developed that passion and this has happened. doesn't align with what I believe in. I have daughters. I'm a father, and I come from a real rough background. And I've changed my life. I've become a really good man, and I've always followed the code. And that code has been violated. With that being said, there's a lot of legal things that have to play out, and they got to play out, but it doesn't involve me. It doesn't involve my name. It doesn't involve anybody else's name that's been associated with it, because we've worked with a lot of people intimately, and there's a lot of people that are hurting right now. I'm just as heartbroken. I care a lot about what it is that I've been able to do. And where this goes, I don't know. I don't know where this goes. My future's bright. I'm gonna always be okay. My family's gonna be okay. And I kept it real, I can't wait for lawyers to make decisions. I have to defend my family. I have to defend myself. And unfortunately, that doesn't align with my future. It doesn't align with me at all. None of us, you know what I mean? None of us knew any of this. And I am just as shocked as everybody else. It's really unfortunate and heartbreaking. Yeah, man.
All right. So we see what he says. That he has no desire to stay with that organization because Jared broke the code. Yeah, I know that Doug has kind of a shaded past, but he owns it. He admits to it, but he also talks about how he's become a good man and changed his life. I have never had a problem with Doug, ever. Even the first video I saw of AWP, it was Jared and Doug. And my first impression was, Doug seems like a cool stand-up guy. He seems real. Jared came across to me as like a used car salesman. There was just something about him that just didn't ring right with me. Let's look at another thing, too, for those of you who think Truckee was involved with this. As I said, AWP had moved on. They've already said they're not going to come out with any more video footage. Kylie would have been found anyway, so they can't blame AWP for finding her. The water level would have dropped and her car would have been exposed, so she would have been found. It might have been a few weeks later, but she still would have been found. So there is absolutely no reason for the people covering up this crime to try to blackmail AWP. No reason. In fact, I think that if they tried to do that, it would have the opposite effect. Because if they were trying to blackmail AWP, if I was Jared, and I don't know if Jared would react like this, but I know I sure as hell would. If they tried to do that, and I was Jared, I'd say, okay, you blankety blanks, I'm going to release everything else now and expose you, because I know some behind the scenes information that can't be released yet that is direct evidence of how law enforcement, and particularly Shandon Moon in Nevada County, covered this up. And even the FBI was involved. That's why I'm going above them. And I'm going to tell you right now, people, I can't really say much because I don't want to compromise anything. But there's a major shitstorm that's going to hit Truckee. They don't even know what's coming. They're being investigated right now. And, oh, by the way, Nevada County, Placer County, I'm not going to tell you what's happening, but I will tell you, you guys are going to be found out. You people that are running drugs, you're going to be found out. Your people that are covering stuff up and putting people in jail to shut them up under false charges, you're going to be found out. I'm telling you right now. And it's already underway. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. There's going to be a major shitstorm like you guys have never experienced before. And it's not just going to involve Kylie. It's also going to involve those cases in the past where people were murdered and you swept it under the carpet and covered it up. That is going to come to a screeching halt. And there's going to be some law enforcement personnel who are going to end up in prison. That's a promise. Not a damn thing you can do about it. It's going to blindside you and hit you like a ton of bricks. There's going to be fur flying. And I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. Every minute. Well, there goes my phone. I forgot to put it on silent again. Why are people texting me at 7 o'clock in the morning? It's probably Truckee telling me to shut up. Anyway, those of you who are thinking that Truckee was involved in all this, it makes no sense. It would have the exact opposite effect of what they're trying to do. If they're trying to shut Jared up, all that would do is stir up a hornet's nest. Of course, I don't know if Jared would react the same as I would, but I would be after your asses. If you guys tried to do that to me, I'd release everything and say, yo mama. I'd release everything. And I hope that they do. I really hope that they do. I don't know if Jared's brave enough to do it. I don't think so. Or he'd have done it in the first place instead of run with his tail between his legs. And I still say it's for money. Law enforcement didn't threaten them. What are they going to threaten them with? They didn't have a gag order on them. You can't have a gag order legally. Like I said, I wish people would really think things through. Really think it through. And look at it factually and not emotionally. I go by evidence. I go by things that I know to be true. I don't make things up. Now, I have had theories, but when I do, I've always said they're theories. I've never quoted them as facts. There's a lot of theories, but we're getting more and more and more information. In fact, there's going to be some things coming out. They're going to shock the crap out of people. But you're going to love it. You're going to love it. So stay tuned. It's not going to be released by me, by the way. I may talk about it afterward. There's a lot of things going on, people. There's a lot of things that we have to kind of keep quiet so things aren't compromised. So we could even do that with the tune to Heartache Tonight. It's going to be a shitstorm tonight. Shitstorm tonight, I know. Oh, by the way, I ordered me a new guitar yesterday. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. A new Les Paul. I deleted the one video because everybody kept saying they couldn't hear me, which I agree. I couldn't hear myself either. So I was like, screw it. I'll just delete it. And then when I get my new guitar, which is going to sound a heck of a lot better, I'll redo it. Anyway, there was a couple of other things I was going to say, but I don't remember what they are, and I think I've covered the main points I wanted to cover anyway. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this video processed, to get it uploaded so you people can enjoy it. Or some of you will, some of you might not. But, again, I just speak the truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Amen. Do it. Oh, okay. I was going to talk about a couple of other things, but I think I've covered enough in this one for one morning. If I think of something else, I'll make another video. Don't cost nothing. All righty. Talk to you later, people.
True crime cowboy. True